Greetings. Welcome to another segment of Keep the Beat with Pete. And today I wanted to talk about orchestrating some of these short rolls that turn around and become very prominent in various grooves, whether it's rock or pop or even jazz recordings. So if you go back in time, we covered short rolls, 3, 4, 5-stroke rolls, roughs, drags, and so forth. So go back and look at that video clip on my channel that we did a while ago. And in that case, we were talking about strictly, just the rolls and 3, 4, 5-stroke rolls, different configurations and different ideas on the basics of those rolls, open rolls, closed rolls, and so forth. Today, what we'll look at is the way these things have been orchestrated. They've been used a lot in funk and rock, but also in jazz too. So let's get started with just some basics. Okay, so I'm just going to put the metronome on, nice tempo, and let's say you had a 5-stroke roll, but you were playing it in a 16th note triplet fashion, right? So what do we have there? You could have 1 or 1, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. And this shows up all over the place, in 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, and Back in the High Life Again, Steve Winwood, And the rolls are longer and shorter, as the case may be. But what happens is you take the basic snare drum rolls that were learned from March and for concert performances, and then you're orchestrating them. So that was like an example of a 5-stroke. It could be 4 strokes. Okay, so 4 strokes, 5 strokes, even 16th note triplets, evenly. So what do we want to do with this to make a methodology out of it or systematize it? Well, what you do is you start, and I think one of the easy ways, okay, there are many ways, and I would say including just playing things that sound good. You experiment, empirical method. You just play around and something sounds good between. And then that's how you orchestrate it. Then there's also a way of doing it that would be a little bit more in the realm of logic and progressions, which is, if you've been looking at the channel for a while, you'll know that that's what I think is an easier way to go. So what I would say is start with your basic roll and just start with a substitution on one. So and start building phrases. That was like 5 strokes. 1, 3, 4, 5. And so on. So this way you start to realize that, okay, I'm substituting 1 note. Now I'm substituting 2 notes. Now I'm going to play between the bass drum. So that as you build your patterns, not only are you training your ear, you're starting to get a groove out of it. So that, okay. So then you start mixing and matching your rolls. It could be 5s and 4s, 3s, 4s, 5s. It could be open rolls, closed rolls. The idea is it's not only marching rhythms that are like, there's funk rhythms, and you know, some of this rolls over into jazz and other songs where there's a pattern that's going to be repeated pretty dramatically. And you know, so that roll, or soft rolls, open rolls, closed rolls, 4 and 5 beat figures, that's the theme of, like, say, Sing, 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 and many of the other songs that in that era, like swing band music, boogie woogie music, okay? So that's what's happening in those patterns. Well, in the funk music, you know, so start by doing the basic rolls, as we did in that prior segment a while back. just on the snare drum practice pad. Then start, pick an instrument, part of the set. Each part of the set's an instrument here, so the hi-hat. And you can then take the rolls and your favorite ones. 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, or and so gradually build it up as you're orchestrating. In the bell of the cymbals, another part. Between the toms and the snare, maybe the snare drum is off. Now, a lot of times I'm dropping in the backbeat when I do these funky things on the 2 and 4, but that doesn't have to be at all. You know, you can work with that too. You know, moving the backbeat around from the 2 to the end after 3, to the duh after 4. I mean, you know, whatever the music may call for, whatever patterns you want to create. But all I'm saying is to start when you orchestrate with one instrument, gradually introduce the places where you're going to do substitutions. Before you know it, you're building patterns. And when you build those patterns, sort of like in a progressive way, start training the ear to put the accents and place them in the music that might make the most sense. Okay? So that's another whole segment, all right? Now you got the pattern going. Where should you make some emphasis and all that? Well, that also comes from listening, playing along to the music, and you have the pattern. Now you want to just calibrate it towards the music you're playing. But that's what I would suggest. You take the short rolls and then start orchestrating them gradually. The hi-hat's a nice place to start for funk, maybe the tom-toms or something for swing band music, and then some combinations of snare and tom-toms on and off. The bell of the cymbal, and then a lot of the other little parts of the drum set, the rims, would be a place that you could start doing the same thing. Okay? So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Start the orchestration. This is the basics of it. And then, 4-stroke, 5-stroke, 6-stroke rolls, whether they be in 16th note triplet format, whether they be in straight 16th and 32nd note formats. One or two of the good sources of this, I mean, if you wanted to just look at the basic snare drum parts of it, modern rudimental swing solos, Charles Wilcox, and we mentioned that one in other videos, you're just going to get a lot of different presentations of the 4-stroke roll, the 5-stroke roll, in terms of these march band rhythms, okay, swing band type thing. But it doesn't matter, you just extract it and repurpose it. Then Rick Latham in Advanced Funk Studies, he's got orchestrations with these similar patterns between the hi-hat and the snare drum and the toms and bass drum substitutions. So Advanced Funk Studies, it's another one of those drum method teaching books that is, been out there forever in terms of great circulation. So you've probably seen it. If not, then take a look at it because it's got those things. And then in good old stick control, George Lawrence Stone has short roll combinations, between 16th notes open and close, and 8th notes and 16th notes, triplets, open, close, and so forth. One note, permutations. And you're going to practice your rolls that way. And once those rolls start to become very controlled and very easy for you to figure out. Orchestrating them is really not a problem at all. It's a matter of your methodology and how creative you want to be with it. How many different songs have these grooves that you can really get that in there. So we use short rolls for transitions, setups, fills, solos. We use rolls to take us from point A to point B in the music. Well, rolls are used for grooves a lot of times. They build whole songs around them. So that's what we're trying to focus on here, okay? For all you new subscribers, welcome. And for any of you who have been subscribing and watching, go back and watch the short rolls clips, rough rolls and drags, and then combine it with this. And then in the future, we're going to get into rolls with the accents, where we want to place them, and then of course where we want to place the accents when we orchestrate them around the set, okay? So this is all designed for you to create the beat you keep, not just, oh, that's how you play that beat. Okay, that's great to know, and it's great to look at transcriptions, and it's good to have sources of information where you'll get these things transcribed, but that's not this. This is, oh, I have these basics. How am I going to make a recipe out of this and prepare the so-called musical presentation, okay? Thanks for tuning in. Remember, create the beat you keep the beat you keep. Peace out.